There we go. As you can see, I'm not a dinosaur like some of the T-Rexes on this campus, so I do, I do things to where hopefully you can watch it if you need to over and over again. Let me just use transparency here. And where'd my mouse go? There it is. Ah, it disappeared. Okay, why is it going away? Oh well. It's this one. Not. Yeah. There it is. Sorry about that. I guess the stylus is having a hard time like all of us this morning. Okay, now if you have trouble with this, call 646. This is the help desk number. 646-1779. Don't call down there with attitude, because these are computer tech people. They'll give you an attitude back because they have job security. Okay? So they'll give you an attitude back. And there's no need for an attitude because they're helping you. Make sure you get this done. And like I said, I did it, and I didn't even have this. I just called it, and she said that the server is exchange.tdc.tc.edu, and she told me to do this. This is a long, long time ago, and the rest of it I did. So it's not that big of a deal. And you have to go through and set up an exchange account. So look on your phone, and I don't know where it's under settings, and go to account settings and create an account, I think, and then it's called exchange. Exchange my email. Anybody want to help me out there? I see a Carolina fan. You gonna pull for Georgia or Alabama tonight?
I don't know anything about football.
I'm gonna pull for them dogs. I don't know if you see my truck out there, but my truck is red and black, and it's got a Georgia tag on front of it. So I'm a Georgia fan, even though I went to Clemson. I got several degrees from Clemson. I'm a Georgia fan. You know, when you were a kid, you liked other teams, and I liked Georgia. I wanted to be a veterinarian, but that didn't work out. So I still like Georgia. I like Clemson too, but they played like they had a hangover, which they probably did since they didn't come in until 2 o'clock from partying. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Anybody got any questions on this? And get it done because it helps you. I mean, just like today, I emailed the whole group like 30 minutes before class, and you would have got it. And I just said, we are going to meet at 10 o'clock because half of y'all were probably on the way up here. And I wasn't going to cancel class when they told us, oh, we're not having 10 o'clock. So anyway, I'll shut up. That's that. Let me go ahead and give you one other number. And I did put this in your email, so this is stuff that I got to pull it up. Hold on just a minute. I think I've got a new number in here. I hope I do. My Labs Plus Help Desk, because they gave me a new number and I have to use it. There it is. Anything having to do with your stuff that I can't help with, My Labs Plus. Now, if it's something simple, there is a handout that has several people, and I think I'm one of those people, but I'm not sure, that you could send an email to. I think one of them is Dr. Gabati, and the other one is Dr. Marshall. I think that's on the handout about My Labs Plus. Look at that handout and see if it says that somewhere on there. Highlight those 2 emails. And now, if you have let me just go ahead and tell you this, and we'll get into it later. When you install when you do the install for when you go through and okay, you don't have to do that. You might. Okay, I'll get into that later. I'm not going to get into that right now. 1-800 or 1-888-883-1299. Now, that's this number you don't call for login. You don't do that because we can take care of that. What you email those two numbers. I meant those two emails on that handout. This is what you call when you're having problems with your computer at home and you're getting a white screen on MyLabs Plus. You pull up a homework problem and you get a white screen. Or when you log on, everything goes white. Or something, there's a problem with MyLabs Plus in your computer at home. Notice I say at home, because the only people that can help you at home with that is the MyLabs people and Geek Squad. I can't. Okay? Tri-County Tech cannot. That's your home computer. Now, with a laptop, you can probably go downstairs and ask Sandra what's going on, but chances are it's the engine thing, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, which means Wednesday, when we go over MyLabs Plus logistics, okay? When we go over all that stuff. So write those two down and keep them handy, because after today, if you ask me, I'm going to say I have no clue, because I'm not going to repeat myself. Okay? Question. All right. Now let's go over the handouts. I sent out the handouts twice. As I said, I didn't really want to, but the second one didn't do right, so I hope this ain't the one. This may be the one. No, it doesn't say. No, it doesn't. This one's okay. All right, the first thing I want to cover is information about me. Now, I don't do this because I'm conceited or whatever the word is. I don't do it because of that. There's a story behind it. We used to do index cards back before computer days, and I used to ask the students to write down stuff about themselves. And then I would do the opposite. I would pass this out after we turned in the index cards because I don't think, and I just kept doing it. So that's why we do this. That's why I do it. And plus, I think one of the most important things in the learning environment is for a student to be comfortable. If a student's not comfortable in the classroom, then there's a problem. Okay? There's a problem with the communication. Now, I can make y'all uncomfortable. And some of y'all can make the class uncomfortable. All right? I usually don't do that. But as you all know, one of the lifelong rules that I try to teach my students is there's always what? There's always one. There's always one student that's going to make the class uncomfortable. How many of you have seen that before? They make it uncomfortable by... You ever been in a nursing class or a biology class where there's a nursing assistant for 15,000 years that's been a nursing assistant for 15,000 years trying to tell everybody what she knows? The reason I say she is most of the time in a biology or a nursing class it's a she. In math and psychology it's usually a he. All right? Sorry guys, but that's the way it is. I won't tolerate it. And you might have read this in the handout. And I don't forget how many years I've been teaching. 20 plus years. I've only thrown out 3 students, and all 3 of them were male because they had some kind of issues going on. I don't know what it was, but it has something to do with insufficient deficiencies or something. Anyway, the whole point is I don't have trouble with my class. Have I had people that make it uncomfortable? Yes. And by the time I shoot the second shot across the bow, they either quit coming or they address their issues. Second shot is when I embarrass them. First shot is I warn them. I warn the class. I say, y'all remember when I said and make the class comfortable? That's a warning shot. And everybody's going to be, who's he talking to? Who's he talking to? And then the second one, I pull the student out and I call the student out and I say, shut up. And I hate to say that, but some people just don't understand subtleness. Okay? So let's not make the class uncomfortable. Let's, if you're one of those people that people run into the bathroom when they see you coming down the hallway, you might be one of those people. But let's try not to make it uncomfortable. Look at this, and this is important. This right here is very important. And there is a, excuse me, there is a question on the test. There's 2 or 3 questions on the test, on each of your unit tests about this. So you might want to highlight it, you might want to circle it. All right? I have students, 3 students last semester, 3, contacted me after I turned in grades and told me that they had 5 dead grandmothers during the week finals and they missed the final exam. Did I change their grade? Hail to the no. What would happen? Where do you work? Do you work anywhere or are you a full-time student?
Carolina here.
All right. Oh, that's like UPS and the post office. Some people work. Y'all load trucks all the time, don't you? Or do you drive? Or are you a salesman or what?
No, I'm a friend.
Oh, okay. You're a loader.
Yeah.
I had a good friend that worked Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola and Pepsi's about the same way. You work UPS, post office, and both kind of places you work. How about you? You work? Huh? Academy. All right. I'm coming there to get free stuff. All right. Where do you work? Go. Where do you work?
Full-time family.
Full-time family. You work. I know you did.
Parsons.
Parsons. I'm coming there to get some free food. Where? You're a student. How about you, Miss Lowry? Huh? Student. And you?
Okay, and
Med. Bless your heart. There's another place. And they get beat up all the time by the doctors. Are you a nurse or are you administration? Nursing assistant. You're going to run into some of those nursing assistants, been nursing assistants for 50 years, and they're going to tell you that they're a doctor. Okay? We all know those types. Anyway, I'm going to use these 2 right here. All right? What would happen if you called Carolina Beer and you called Med 2 weeks after you were absent for a week? What would they do? And you didn't tell anybody.
They laughed at me and told me to return my uniforms.
What would? Okay. One of the things in college is you're making the transition from high school to the real world. Okay? Those numbers up there aren't to call me when you get drunk. They're up there for you to tell me if something is happening. Now, I have never had to do this before. Never. I've never had to go over this before. But last semester, I had 3 students call me. I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, I would freak out if I missed a day in class when I was going to school. I still have dreams of missing an entire semester of English. I don't know why I have it. Everybody has a recurring dream. That's my recurring dream. Daniel Hall. I can see Daniel Hall. I can see it just as pretty today. And I'm missing this class. Even the classroom is down to the T. It's some psychological thing. I don't know what it is. Maybe my phobia with English. But anyway, use them. Now, some of you may have talked to other students. Okay? Mr. Lowry, you know somebody that's had me before. They will tell you the best way to contact me, there's 2. My cell phone and my email. Any emails. My email, you can write this down, hubertcmcclure@gmail.com. All right? Those are the 2 best ways. Why? Because where do those come through? In my office or in my phone? In my phone. Now, if I'm on a farm driving a tractor or feeding cows, I ain't going to email you, okay? I'll email you when I get to it. And if it's after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll either address it with you in class the next day, or if it's an emergency, I'll email you when I get back to the house. But the whole point is, you need to contact me. Now, I'm not going to extend your test if you call me after the fact. I'm not going to do it. Now, one of my students says, "Oh, well, I couldn't because my grandfather was dying and I had to get up there quick." I said, where do you work? Blah, blah, blah. I said, did you call them? Well, yeah. Click. I didn't hang up on her, but point made. All right, so make sure you use that, okay? I usually don't have to cover that, but I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's some kind of thing that these students are going through now or what, but it ain't going to work up here. All right, so that's that. Hubert's locator card. Oh, one more thing. I even give you directions to my office. Why do I do that? So you don't what? The first thing that comes out of your mouth. There's two things that comes out of y'all's mouths when I tell you to come by my office. Somebody tell me what those two things are. Where's your office? And when are you going to be in your office? Well, I'm going to answer those two questions. Now, if there is information on these handouts, I'm not going to repeat myself. So if you ask me where my office is, I'm going to say I have no idea. Okay? There's no use in me repeating myself. Y'all are all adults. You're cognitive. You're self-aware. You're sentient. And you should be able to read that and say, okay, his office is on the second floor, on the left of the elevator, in the corner. Okay? And, y'all have all been in hotels where you're trying to find room 220 and you use the doors as guides. Okay, there's 212, there's 213. So 220 is going to be on the left. And you go down and 214. Okay, it must be down here. I can't believe I have to tell students this. Each semester, I have to go through and tell them how to find my office. And then they ask me 3 weeks later, where's your office? Okay, so don't be one of those people. Okay, now I'm pull up the locator card to answer that question. Hubert, when are you in your office? There. There's when I'm in my office. Now this is very rough, okay? I'm going to tell you. All right, if I don't have to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, I got an 11-year-old son that I have to take to school every other week. Okay? So, I'm going to be late on those days. I can tell you that right now. Sometimes I'm not, depending on how he operates. Okay? And I have to slap him upside the head, or one of the two. Get him up, throw water in the bed, which I have to do sometimes. So, that Monday and Wednesday and Friday at 8 o'clock, you think I'm going to be here? No. I might get here about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. But those other times I'll be here. Always. Okay? If you live in BFE, all right, if you live in South Iva, all right, don't come all the way up here for office hours and not text me and see if I'm here or in a meeting. Okay? Don't do that. If you live far away, let's say you're picking up parts in Greenville, all right? Your car broke down and you got to go pick up a part for it. It's in Greenville. Are you going to go up there and say, I'm ready to pick up my part? Or are you going to call before you go? Is it ready? You're going to call before you go. Same thing when you office hours. Yes, I do have them. I'm usually on this campus on those times, but I may be downstairs. I may be in a meeting. I may be at the Pendleton campus. So that's why I just put my cell phone number on my door. If I'm not here, text me because I'm usually downstairs or you can hear me. There is when I'm in my office. So as of today, since I've shown you that, if you ask me when are you in your office, I'm going to say I have no earthly idea. All right, so that's that. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. People that's had me before will tell you I'm very fair, I'm very comfortable in the classroom, but I do not put up with people that can't read. Okay? If you cannot sit down for 15, 20 minutes and read over and make notes and highlight these handouts, then chances are you're not going to make it through the class anyway. Okay? I know I'm a bastard. I expect so much out of my students. Class courtesies. Now, this is where I have to get in a little bit of what? Common sense. But, I don't know. Somebody posted on my Facebook yesterday that they went to a store. I can't remember what, but it was a retail store like Kohl's or Academy or, Dick's or, a retail store, Walmart or whatever. And their total was $17.76. And the lady, and this lady is very sarcastic. The lady said, "Oh, $17.76, that was a good year." And the cash register person said, "What happened then? What happened in 1776? The lady just looked at her right in the eyeball and just shook her head. And just got her change and left. Didn't say a word. I mean, I wouldn't either. Oh, I would have said something. That's like the person that complained to me, the snowflake that complained to me and said, I get bonus questions. And one of my bonus questions is, when is homework, or when is the last day of class? And it says September 11th, 2001 or something like that. And one of my students, "I'm offended." I said, "Why are you offended?" "Well, my brother-in-law's sister's cousin, aunt's brother, sister's wife, husband, whatever, 15 generations, was killed in 9/11. Okay. I said, "Well, how do you feel about December 7th, 1941? "What's that?" I said, "Case in point." If you're going to complain about something, at least know what you're talking about. Okay? I'm sorry. Don't complain about one thing and then have another one over here and not complain about it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just thought it was funny. I have no idea what got me off on that tangent, but sometimes I do chase rabbits. Anyway, I treat my students the way I want to be treated. After the first week of class, I treat y'all like I want to be treated. Now, I have to go out on a limb here and be a smart aleck about some of this stuff, because and like I say, this is a small class. When I have a small class, I'm usually preaching to the choir. Okay? Because most of the time, if it's a small class, that means it's a second or third year math course, or you've waited until you can take it at a certain time. So your skin is tough. You're already, I doubt very seriously that this is your first semester. Okay? So I'm preaching to the choir, but I have to do this because I go through everything for every class. And in my dual enrollment classes, I have 35 people. I have to go through this. I have to. So I treat students the way I want to be treated. So that means I treat you fair and I treat you with respect. I usually call you by your last name if I remember it. Usually the quiet ones I don't, or the ones that's had me before I do. I usually remember you. I'll call you by your last name, even if you tell me your first name all year. I call you your last name. Cell phones. I have a cell phone. I don't know if you see it or heard it. I don't know. There it goes. I meant for that to happen. It goes off, and I'm going to turn it on vibrate right now. And nobody has a conniption. Nobody has a cardio infarction. Yours goes off. If you need to answer it, if my elementary school calls, then boom, I got to address that, because either my son has done something or he's sick, one of the two. And I have to go outside in the hallway and answer it. Same thing I ask of you. If you have a call that you have to answer or a text that you have to answer, you don't have to say anything. Just quietly get up and go outside. No big deal. I don't have cardio infarctions because of y'all cell phones. Everybody has cell phones. And it'd I'd be hypocritic. Is that what the word is? Or Hippocratic? Hypocritic? Whatever. I'd be a hypocrite saying, "Oh, you're not supposed to have a cell phone in here," with mine going off all the time. Anyway, texting and cell phones, just be courteous. This is not an online class, although about 40% of it's online. The rest of it I teach. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and say this. We've had the bright notion in the math department that we have to have 2 in-class tests. All right? So I give an in-class test. Very simple. Okay, 5 questions. These are their real easy questions, or they're questions out of your homework, or questions out for your test, or whatever. They're 5% of your grade. It's part of your 20%. Okay? So, and I'll write that down when we get to that part. But there's something new. I don't agree with it, but when you have people that's above you telling you to do it, you find ways to do it and not have to do it, as the old saying goes. So on those days, I will tell you, one of the things you need to know about my class, don't spaz out, okay? Don't spaz out. If you miss a test, it's not if you know what I'm saying is, if you miss a in-class test, it's not that big of a deal. It's only 5% of your grade, okay? It's not going to hurt you. I mean, not really. Might drop you a point or two. But you have other things that I've got in place to help you, that up your grade. Like the bonus questions, like the 3 times to take a test and it takes the higher of the 2, I dropped the lowest 2. The higher of the 3, I dropped the lowest 2. So there you have all kind of incentives, and I do something at the end of the semester also to let you up your points. So I give to you more than I take away. The only reason I got to do that stupid in-class test thing is because I'm told to do it. Okay? So you just read over that. It's not a big deal. Attendance. Now that's a big thing because of our federal government over the last 10 years really cracking down on criminals in the financial aid area. Okay? Notice I said our federal government cracking down on the crime wave of federal aid. Anyway, I'm not even going there. We're talking about 1% of 1% of 1%. 0.00025%. We just won't go there, okay? We have to have an attendance. I even have to have an attendance policy for my online class. I have to give them a quiz every week. And they have to take that quiz so I can write a check for them being attending that class that week. Anyway, if you walk across the threshold, I'll mark you and you leave if you need to. I do accept Skyping, but I do not accept Skyping all the daggum time. Skyping in my class is for an emergency, okay? The kids are sick. The car is broke down. You have to go to a meeting. Those types of things. When you start Skyping in every single week, I'm going to say something to you because that's not what it's for, okay? So that's the attendance policy. Meanwhile, I need to pass this around. I get y'all to sign in the first couple of days because that is, if I can find it, that is crucial for student records. So what I'm going to do is pass this around. I need you to just put your initial. I got your name and your T number. Okay, now I have to explain this because somebody's going to put X. And I didn't say that. I said your initials. Because what this is for, let's say you drop Wednesday. Drop out of school altogether. And I drop her at the end of the semester and say, or she didn't drop me, she just stopped coming. And I give her an FA. And that means failure but attended or something to that effect. And she goes, no, I never attended. And I can go back to this, and her initials are right there. She did attend at least the first week or the first day. That's why I do this. After the first couple of weeks, I keep this in the folder, and I don't get it out anymore. I take attendance by the online thing. But for these first 4 days, today's the 8th, you find your name and put your initial here. I think everybody's here because there's only like 12 in the class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 4 missing, so 3 or 4 missing. So put your initials beside your name just under the 8. Pass that around for me, please. Okay? So that's the attendance policy. I'm very laid back as far as that goes. Main thing is don't take advantage. If you start taking advantage, that's when teachers are going to get pissed. Just like when you're taking advantage of, do you get mad? Yes. So don't do it. If you don't want it done to you, don't what? Don't do it to me. Period. Okay? So that's that. Let's see. Here's my lab. Oh, okay. This right here is a little bit the same thing. I just kind of update. Here's my class schedule. Here's the classes that I'm teaching. This is just really generic. One of the reasons I do these handouts, so I go over everything, and if it triggers something else that I forgot to put on the handouts, I'll mention it, like those two 1-800 numbers or those two phone numbers that I gave you. I forget to put those in the handout. So some of these things trigger other things that I need to go over. This is just general. I hate this button. Okay, there we go. If you want to find out about me, you can Google me, you can YouTube me, you can go to Rate My Professor, and go over all of your instructors. And I will tell you, if they got a 2 or below, run. Run, drop, run. Okay? If they're below a 2, get out. Just telling you. Oh yeah, hammy students. I don't like hammy students. Hammy students are those students that come up to me after today. Somebody will come up to me. I'm not saying in here, but somebody will come up to me. When's first homework due? When's first test due? I'll just look at them like they're an idiot. I have not even covered the first bit of math. You only need to worry about math when I start what? When I start talking about it. All right? And the other people that make the class is the know-it-alls. And you know which ones those are. That's the nursing assistant that's been a nursing assistant for 100 years. Or the student that read a psychology book and trying to tell the psychology professor. You'll see them. If you haven't had psychology, you will see one of those people. They read an article on psychology and they know everything. Okay? Y'all have to keep me. I think, when's class over? 11? 11, right? Okay. Look at here. I like to interact with my class. So that means I like for the class to what? Interact with me. All right? Please don't be like these classes I've had in the past, 1 or 2, every semester. Just sit there. And this is what they have on their face the whole time. They look like they weaned on a pickle. You ever met somebody like that? Just weaned on a pickle. Don't be like that in here. I'm not going to teach you. I'm not going to treat you like high school students. Okay? So let's just shake that high school mentality out. I want a comfortable classroom. Now, oh my God. We do have students that, you ever met these students in your other classes that don't know how to handle the freedoms that are given to them? Oh my God. They're either socially awkward or they're belligerent. One of the two. And they don't know how to handle it. Please try to handle it. If you're talking more than I am, you're not handling it very well. Just use that as a guide. I don't believe in entitlements. Period. Grade redistribution or everyone getting a trophy. So if you pass, you pass. If you flunk, you flunk. I'll give you an F. Okay? One of the things I love about MyLabs Plus is it doesn't see gender. It doesn't see race. It doesn't see anything. What you get after you finish with MyLabs Plus is a grade. And there's nothing you can do to MyLabs Plus to influence that grade. That's why I use it. That's why I brought it on campus back in 1997, okay, when it was on disk. All right? It's a good program. All right? Now, you may not agree with it because it may not be as high as you want it, but you have ways to correct that. Okay? All right. That's that. Just another generalization. I'm trying to give you some kind of environment of what this class is going to be like and what kind of behavior I expect from you. My Labs Plus handout. Okay. See, this triggers something else. Blackboard. I don't use Blackboard. I don't use Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. Okay, I said that 5 times. Somebody will walk up to me next week and say, I can't find the assignments on Blackboard. Okay, I do not use Blackboard. Everything I have in this class is on MyLabs Plus. Now, I did go in Blackboard and put a bridge to MyLabs Plus because we have to, because Blackboard can't do it by itself, so we have to go in and do it when it's up. Notice I said when it's up. Okay, that's another reason I don't use Blackboard. So there you go. You can go into I would suggest you go through Blackboard first, because Blackboard, I don't know, it triggers something, and I think it shows that you have entered into the MyLabs Plus. So initially, go through the Blackboard bridge that I did on Blackboard. It's over on the left. It should say MyLabs Plus. You click on it, and then you click on the link, and it should take you to this website. tc.mylabsplus.com. And that is what you can use afterwards. You don't have to go through Blackboard. Okay? Most of you have used MyLabs Plus before. Some of you are coming out of 101 and 102, which is a total cluster in my opinion, because I used to be over that department. And now they basically reinvented the wheel and made it square. Okay? But I'm not even going there. Anyway, there's that. And make sure. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of, right here. I want you to highlight that 4th sentence right there, 4th or 5th sentence. The preferred browsers for MLP are Mozilla Firefox, Safari, or Google Chrome, not Internet Explorer. You need to highlight that because that's very important. If you go to MyLabs Plus and you pull up the homework and you see a white screen instead of a problem, it's got everything around it, but a white screen, that means you've got some kind of problem with the engine, or you've got a problem with your computer at home. And the first thing I would do is the next day see if it does it in the lab. If it does it in the lab, then there's a problem with MyLabs Plus. If it doesn't do it in the lab, there's a problem with your computer. Usually when it's either a search engine problem or you have malware protection or software protection that needs to be disabled when you log in. Okay? If you can't figure out those two things, then you need to call that 1-800 number, that 188 number I gave you. Something else you might want to try. If you go into Mozilla Firefox, now I don't know why this happens, but it does, and in the past this is what happened to fix it. If you're in Firefox and it doesn't work, go over to Google Chrome and try it. And if Google Chrome don't work, go into Internet Explorer and try it. One of those 3 will work. Don't ask me why. Okay? Just making sure it's not my son's school. All right. And just read over those. And now the access code, I'll go over this Wednesday. There's 3 ways to get the access code. One is it's packaged with your book. And there's a scratch-off, peel-off thing that you use. There's a big code in there that you use, and that's one time. And after you use it, it's no good, you throw it away. Okay, you can't reuse it. The other way is to get it at the bookstore. You better hurry because the bookstore Pendleton orders 5 access codes per semester for the 5,000 students that we have. Okay, they only order 5. Don't even get me started on that. All right? And the third way is when you log on and it asks you for an access code, there will be a link or a dot that you hit and say, buy an access code. And you can buy it online. It's usually about $10 to $20 cheaper than the one they have in the bookstore that they don't have. They only order 5 of them. Okay? So that's the way and the only thing you need is the access code. Now, what's going to happen is, and this is what happens, people do not read this. And they just hear me say My Labs Plus, and they go to mylabsplus.com and they click on log in, and it's going to ask for a class ID. And then they're going to get on the email and they're going to send me, it's asking for a class ID. And I'm not going to respond because they haven't read a damn thing I gave them. Okay? There is no way that you could go to mylabsplus.com reading this. Okay? No way. And me giving you the information that I'm giving you here. Okay? So that's that. The next handout is the one on the oh, this is important too. And I'm gonna have to be smart alecky here too, or snarky. I guess that's the word. Is snarky a word? I don't know if it's a word or not. Oh yeah, if I ask y'all a question, I want somebody to answer it. It is a word? Okay. Office 365, this is free. Nothing is what? That's the first rule of life. Nothing is what? Free. Nothing's free, and there's always one. All right? This is included in your tuition. If you're a first semester student here, this is included. This also includes all of the Office product, including Skype for Business. If you're going to use Skype for an emergency, please don't wait 5 minutes before class to call me or text me. How do you load Skype? Because I'm going over it right now, so I don't have to cover it twice. This is the link. You hit that link, you type in your hmcclure@tctc.edu and your password. Some of you may have a password, some of you may have a T number, depending on what yours is. Okay? It'll automatically link to Tri-County Tech's login. You have to type it in again. After that, it will install it onto the device mine's on my phone. You get 5 installs, I believe. 5. Laptop, phone, tabletop, work laptop, or work tabletop. Whatever you want to put it on. It's a free download. And I think it is good until you become inactive, which that means you lay out a semester or 2. Okay? Question. Make sure you read over that, because that needs to be installed today or tomorrow. Today or by the first week. That way, if you need to Skype into a class, you have it. Okay? This handout I send out to every one of my classes. And for my online class, I send a handout with a link to my video for that class last semester or whatever. What I do is I record my classes, and that way if you take an online class of mine, I have several classes on there that you can look at to help you. Okay? 2 students in my online class last semester, guess what they put on the evaluation? This class was only taught on MyLab Plus. There were no videos or no help from the instructor. I am one of the only instructors on Pendleton, Easley, and Anderson campus that video and record their classes. I've been doing it. Anybody want to take a guess for how long I've been doing it? 5 years I have been doing it. And these 2 bozos, whoever they were, had the audacity to tell me that I need to put videos on my class. Well, what did that tell me about those 2 bozos? They didn't read the handouts. Okay? And of course, if you ever not read the handouts and you ask me a question and I don't answer it because you didn't read the handouts, and you go to my department head and say that I'm a bad teacher and I don't respond to your emails, you know what she's going to tell you? If he didn't respond to your emails, that means it's in your handouts. Because she just went through every one of my handouts. I send them to her whenever I make a new one. And she okays it, so that means she knows what's in the handouts. And she knows the type of information I'm giving you. I'm giving you all this information so I don't have to go over it throughout the semester. Okay? I try to fix it to where I do nothing in this class but what? Teach math and talk about stuff outside of math. 10%. Okay? So make sure you take care of this. And that's that. Now, I don't need to give you, but really, the reason I want to give you this is because if you're sick, or let's say you have to go to work, okay, or you have to go to work, or no, you're the mama, you have to go to work, okay, all right, I meant to a place to work, and you can't come to class, or the kids are sick, or whatever the case may be, then you just go on to YouTube and you can watch the class after today. Now, it takes me, so I don't have a class in here, and this is pretty much my classroom because of the TVs. So I'm going to be in here more than I'm going to be in my office. So I will probably download today's class after class today, probably within 30 minutes of class. And you go on to YouTube, you pull up Hubert McClure, and then you click on the blue shirt. They'll have a green shirt, blue shirt, and that's green shirt a long time ago. I was doing something else. And you click on playlist or library, and then you look for, it'll be called Math 103, Spring 2018. You're the only Math 103 class that I'm teaching. So this will be your class. And it'll say first day, second day, and then whatever material I cover after that. Section 1.1, Section 2.2, which triggers another thing that I need to tell you. Go ahead and start reading Chapter 6. You need to get the outline out. Get that out right quick. This outline is the thing that looks like an outline. I can't talk right now. I've got them in here somewhere. Let me see. Here it is. This one right here. Get that out because it is not, I'm going to go over it here in just a minute. But anyway, go ahead and read. Unit 1 is 5, Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is what you need to be reading. Now, you don't read all of Chapter 5. You look at the outline, and what does it say? 5 what? 5 Alpha, 5 Charlie, and 5 Echo. Hubert, that says Unit 3. Well, we're not doing it in order. The reason I do Unit 3 and 4 first is my Math 120 class. They do statistics and probability. So I coincide my two 103 classes for the student. They're taking 103 and 120 together. Or for me, that I don't have to do a double prep. I don't have to work hard. I do not like to do extra work. Okay? And paperwork to me is extra work. So I do not like to do that. So you need to make that note. I'm going to go over it with you after this handout right quick. Run out of time. All right, let's finish with this handout. Skyping gives you directions to Skype, and it also gives you directions to, I don't know what. But anyway, we'll stop with this one. And when y'all come in Wednesday, we will go over probably a lot of this again. And we will probably go over the syllabus and logistics for MyLabs Plus, as well as any questions so far for me. Who's got questions for me? Anybody? Okay, we all can skedaddle if you got to go to a fire. If not, you can ask me after class if you got any questions. As soon as I turn this thing off, where is it? There it is.